Join us on the journey this week as we balance out our work and play before hitting the road. Cody takes care of some hitch maintenance business.
This is really easy. You can do it yourself and maybe even solve a couple of problems.
We realize that we've been paying double for years. But we had no idea that this would do that too. So we've been paying double.
Yeah.
We've been doing both. If you notice my shirt, it means it's travel day.
It is travel day,
So,
and it's hot.
Welcome back. It has been an amazing week, as it always is here with our friends. We get so thrown off on our filming because we're just having such a good time, but it's been exciting.
It's been a good week.
Obviously, we've gotten a lot of boat time in.
We got to boat almost every day. It was awesome.
While we're here, we do like to get some work done, so we got the hitch cleaned up.
It was time. It was pretty dirty.
It was definitely needed.
It's time to catch up on a little bit of hitch maintenance. I've noticed this thing has just been getting really gross looking. This is our Pull Right Super Glide hitch. We've had a fifth wheel hook to this for over 30,000 miles, and it's been great. They require very little maintenance, but they do require some cleaning from time to time. So I'm gonna go through cleaning this hitch up and making a few adjustments. This is really easy. You can do it yourself and maybe even solve a couple of problems. I met Nick with Pull Right Hitches back at the Grand Design Rally in September, and he walked me through a lot of this stuff. So I'm just gonna rinse and repeat what I did there. If you want a deeper dive, you can go back and check out that video. We'll put a link in the description. But for now, let's jump into it.
So it's been about a year since you've done the last adjustment.
Something you may see with these slider hitches, and the reason that I reached out to meet Nick in the first place, it'll set still like this. And when you turn, the catch plate breaks it loose and it slides back. There's an adjustment point back here that you have to look at every now and again, because if this isn't tight, this thing will just kind of slide. When you're empty and you don't have a trailer on, you may take a corner or hit your brakes or accelerate and you'll hear it go slam. Ours isn't doing that now. It's been good since the last adjustment, but there are a couple of adjustments I want to make to the puck system.
Okay.
And we're just going to give this thing a good cleaning and be ready to go tomorrow. So the first thing I want to do is just get a really good cleanup on the slider rails. Just going to use a little Zep degreaser. One of the things I learned from Nick when we met is I was lubricating this hitch all wrong. I was using traditional like axle grease, but with this they just recommend WD-40 because it doesn't cause things to collect quite as much dust. You want to keep all these rails good and clean. You want to make sure you're not digging big gouges into it or anything like that. Our hitch still looks great.
I'm here to manage the situation.
Now the next thing I do, be very careful that you don't lose these. It's not that you can't replace them. You just probably can't replace them today. I'm gonna go ahead and pull off the plate. Really easy, just 2 pins here. And we'll just flip this over. Take a look at it. Let's make sure obviously we're clean in here. Check to make sure these springs aren't broken, no uneven wear. Everything's tight, functions like it should. I'm satisfied that it is. So we'll just hit this with a little degreaser also. You're not gonna get it spotless, but if you keep the excess out of it and keep it from collecting dust that could get into the moving pieces, we wanna make sure and hit it with some WD-40. We're gonna get our springs really good. Now the next thing we're gonna do, we got this pivot plate here. It's got a bolt that runs all the way through it to keep it tight. You want to check for excess play. You want it to move just a little bit side to side, but not much. This is in pretty good adjustment. So what we'll do now is we'll take this bolt out right here. My sockets only go up to 24 millimeter, and I think that's 26. So I actually can't do anything with that today. I'll have to get another tool and come back to it.
Okay.
But really what you want to do here is check and make sure you don't have any excessive play. And you want to pull this bolt out and give it a good coating in grease. It's the only thing on this hitch you actually have to put grease on, and just a little bit of grease on the bolt to keep it from seizing up. We did that in our other video. You can check that out, but I'll just have to come back to this one. That's embarrassing. You go to shoot a video on doing a little maintenance and you don't have the right tools for the job. That's always cute.
That doesn't sound like us at all.
That doesn't sound like me.
Did you notice he said me?
So since we can't do that, the next thing we'll check are the mounting points for the puck system. These are really easy to do. You're just looking for any movement. Nick had told me a lot of times once you get past the first adjustment, it may not ever need to be adjusted again, but you always check it. However, this one here is a little loose. See how that bolt's loose? Okay. These two, for some reason, are not. So I'm just gonna pull this pin out of here. And this is really all that holds the whole system together. You can pop this out, it goes right into the puck system. Just got teeth on it. So what you're doing here by moving this castle nut is you're adjusting how tight it is against the bed with that big washer.
Oh.
But they will loosen off a little bit. So we put it in, now it's locked. See how much play we've got in it? So we'll just adjust this castle nut until it starts to get tight when we're pushing it in. You gotta have it to where you can push this in by hand to lock it all together. So right there, I know I can push it in by hand. Now we just work the cotter pin out. There's really not a whole lot to adjust or that could go wrong with these hitches. And if you do have a little bit of chucking, it's not the end of the world. It's probably just gonna be an annoyance. You can get where you're going and make your adjustments. You don't necessarily need to panic and, you know, do something about it right this second. One thing I like to do is take just a little bit of WD-40 and spray it here in these horns. Spray a little bit in our moving parts here because I can't get to these when we're going down the road. I've already put WD-40 all in here. So now it's just a matter of putting the plate back on. These are heavy. Plate, pin, goes together really easily. Clean this inside. You're gonna have just some random scratching and rub marks. That's normal, like ours does.
Some of that was also from a mistake that we made, thinking that we could do those Teflon or nylon plates.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But on this particular type of hitch, it doesn't. And we didn't film it, but we got ourselves in a really scary situation with it because it hung. But that's where a lot of the scratching came from, was us getting out of that situation.
Yeah.
So maybe read the owner's manual.
That's it. I'm soaked in sweat, but the hitch is all adjusted, lubed, cleaned, ready to go for another travel day.
What do you say we go get in the water and cool off?
I need to go jump in a lake somewhere. I'm burning up.
So we have a little bit to get ready this morning. We're gonna go say goodbye to some friends, finish up, and see you guys back at the camper. Our friend also has a channel. So what is it, Z-Ski 56?
Yeah.
I love watching him. He does all kinds of pole vaulting and ninja stuff. How long have you been doing ninja?
3rd grade, so I have no idea. A long time.
We don't do math in the mornings here on the weekends. Several years. It's cool to watch. So if you like the little short snippets, 30 seconds, you want to check them out, I'll pop it down there. Charlie is totally chill except for when we pull the slides in and right when we get to the location. Then they get in the RV and there's space and they're just fine. But we gotta listen to this for a second. Last night was one of our favorite nights around the campfire, and that's Hammerschlagen night. If you're not familiar with what Hammerschlagen is, it's a game that originated in Germany. It was introduced to us by friends who learned it from someone from Michigan. And I realized that that doesn't sound that fun. And we were very skeptical when we were first introduced to it. But there hasn't been a single person that has been introduced to it that didn't like, oh, this is so fun, and want to keep playing.
You kind of get you tell people what it is, you kind of get the what?
Yeah,
and then
which is how we felt.
And then they're hooked on it. And it seems like it's dumb, like driving a nail into a log, but think about it. I mean, People play cornhole. It's tossing a beanbag into the hole, and it's the most addictive game ever.
The official rules are not the rules that we play by here. I think the official rules are you have to hammer your own nail, and you have to use the wedge side of the hammer, and there's certain rules on the hammers you use,
Right.
and
The nails you
top
use.
of wood and all that.
Yeah, we just get a log and a bucket of nails
And we do it where we hammer other people's nails
to get them out.
Get them out of the game.
Right.
So it's a little different. It creates a little bit more competition, but it's how we've played it, and it's always a blast. Don't knock it till you try it.
That's right. Same play as always. Drive it down by the office, back it up and pull it out here. Avoid the low trees. We already checked the tires earlier. We know they're good. Lights are working. Bikes are tight and locked. The turd burglar is secure. Outdoor hatches, that door's locked. Which side you need it, driver? Yeah, we better give her a tug. Tires, lights, tug test. Tires, lights, tug test, every time. I know last time we came through, we had a short travel day and it was really hot, and we left the vents closed to keep some of the cool air in, and it actually worked. It wasn't too hot in the camper when we got here, but that was 2 hours. Today we've got 5 to ride, and it's already very muggy, so I went ahead and opened the vents, and you know, it's what we've always done before, so hopefully it keeps some of the heat out.
Keep some air circulating.
Yeah, keep a little air moving.
I don't know if it's the right answer or not, but that's what we did. Oh, look. Mom and her little.
Oh.
I doubt this is picking it up, but that's adorable. Yeah, you got a car coming.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. We're watching babies. Since we hadn't been on the lake all year, we knew that we had to renew our Corps of Engineer pass to hang at the boat ramp.
And that's to cover your day use, where you would normally pay like a $5 day use fee to launch and park your boat. That covers you for the year, and they used to be like, what, $45, $50?
I think something like that. So it pays for itself within a pretty short amount of time, especially as often as we would do boating. So I went up to the visitor center to do this. Apparently the America the Beautiful Pass covers a lot of those as well.
If it's a Corps of Engineer lake.
Correct. But we also visit Arkansas's Corps of Engineer lakes, and so again, pays for itself. Even when we lived in Minnesota and we would take a jet ski out on the river or something like that, we were covered. But we had no idea that this would do that too. So we've been paying double.
Yeah.
We've been doing both. We've just been giving them money. We've been donating.
Yeah.
For the ones that we've been visiting, we've just been giving away money. When we went to the national park, we just got the card, but if you're using it for a boat ramp, you have to have the tag, and they ask you to face it outside. That way, if they need to scan this barcode, they can.
Yeah.
As long as you have your America the Beautiful Pass card with you and tell them what you're looking for. They gave us a free hangy tag for free. I walked out without spending any money, and that makes me pretty happy.
That makes me really happy. It kind of makes me feel silly for paying double the last few years, but you live and learn.
Why should you never tell jokes on a frozen lake? It might crack up.
No, it won't. You're safe.
Why did the elephants jump in the lake?
Couldn't tell you.
Because they had their trunks on.
Where do you find this?
Internet. So my understanding of a Hoosier, if you're in Indiana, a Hoosier is a good thing. a sports related. It's their
It's a
mascot.
sports team, isn't it?
Yeah, it's their mascot, I guess,
Okay.
right?
I think so, yeah.
But if someone calls you a Hoosier outside of Indiana,
And I've heard people from Illinois use this term.
I've heard people from Wisconsin and use this term. Yeah. So a Hoosier is not a good thing. I think it's more like a redneck. They're kind of calling you a redneck of sorts. I
okay.
don't-
Gotcha.
That's my extent of knowledge.
Well, let's try to make it through the trip and not get called Hoosiers.
Oh, we're most definitely Hoosiers. The technical definition of Hoosier slang, per the internet, per dictionary.com,
Or the World Wide Web.
is generally used for an awkward, unsophisticated, or rustic person.
So a redneck, basically. Oh, that's not so bad.
Check out these Hoosiers coming through your state.
Probably sounds nice. It probably sounds nicer than redneck, I guess.
It's kind of a fun word, isn't it?
It is kind of a fun word. We are on our way to northern Indiana to do something that I'm really excited about, and I think you guys will enjoy. Well, it's hot, and while we've got a couple of tricks up our sleeve on how to boondock without running a generator, I want air conditioning because it's going to be in the 90s. So, step one is get the generator out. While I absolutely love my big Westinghouse generator, I don't like the process of getting it out, because it involves me removing the entire bed cover to get to the generator, which inconveniently sets up in front of my hitch because I don't use it that often. You figure that stuff out in the RV life. The stuff you don't use much, put it wherever. The stuff you need a lot, you put it in easy access. I don't use the big generator very often, so I'm just gonna unhook the bed cover, slide it over to one side like that, figure out what I did with this ratchet strap situation I've got going on in here. And now I get to lift this thing, which isn't very heavy. This is just a really awkward way to have to do it because I have to lift it up over the back of the fifth wheel hitch and just kind of come out this way with it. So it's going to get real awkward. My generator is so old, the blue is starting to turn into powder blue.
Oh my goodness.
And it comes off on everything because it's not blue anymore. We get all set up here for a little boondocking. So really it's no different. In this situation, we're just going to use our 50 amp power cord. Normally, I like to take that and drag the generator as far away from the rig as possible just to cut down on noise. But we're not really in a spot where I can do that, so I'm just going to set it a safe distance away from the trailer. It's really not that loud. So our Westinghouse generator has a 30 amp plug on the front. Our trailer's 50 amp, so we're going to use a 30 to 50 adapter. Looks like I left the battery switch on this the last time I used it, so odds are it's not going to start. It's just like at any other campsite. You want to use a surge protector? Yes, I know I have the cheapest surge protector they sell on Amazon. I'm going to do something about it, I promise. But let's check. You can see we've got this light's out, which means we have an open ground. We've talked about this before with these little grounding plugs. You just plug it in right here to the 110. Looky there. No more open ground. we're gonna finish getting set up. Make sure to subscribe and come back for the next video because we got something really cool in store for you here in Indiana.
See you later. I want to start referring to myself as a Hoosier instead.
Oh, will you fix my hat? Oh, I'm just burning up. Oh, that is the nastiest thing ever.
That was sweat, my friends. Ugh. Oh, woo. Oh, my stomach's not prepared for that this early in the morning.
Whew.